Hey, Cubs fans, listen, Cubs just lost 4-1 opening day against the Dodgers. You probably watched it. You've probably already seen the highlights, but I'm just getting done with our watch along with Sean Hendrickson. Thank you to those of you who did join. It was a lot of fun despite the result. But just a few takeaways that, in case you weren't able to watch the watch along with us, you do have another chance tomorrow on the Wednesday game. Cubs taking on the Dodgers once again, the final game in Tokyo. Justin Steele versus Roki Sasaki. A few takeaways. So, first of all, Cubs get out to a good start. They get an RBI double from Miguel Amaya with 2 outs, something that they struggle with all season long was 2-out hitting. And so for that reason, I was very encouraged by that. Shota Imanaga struggled through 4 innings, but this was the same kind of Shota Imanaga that we saw last year. One game that comes to mind was the game in Seattle last year where he just doesn't quite have his stuff, a little bit erratic, but still finds a way to go 4 innings, no hits, 4 walks. We didn't see a single game from Shota last year where there were 4 walks, and I think that's a byproduct of starting the season earlier, probably amped up a little bit pitching in his home city, home country, home everything. The time change, all these things are probably leading to that. But after a hot start and the Cubs having 3 hits on the board through 4 innings, they did not have a single hit after that. And that's just not what you can't do that against the Dodgers. You can't score 1 run against the Dodgers and expect to win a game. So let's just get that out of the way and say, listen, all the other things that I'm about to share, all the other things I'm about to say in terms of just looking back on this game mean nothing because you can't expect to win a game against the Dodgers 1-0. But there was a few things that happened that just made you kind of go, The very first one was Ben Brown coming in right after Shota Imanaga. And I talked about it with my co-hosts, both Sean Hendrickson and Alex Brault, who were on the channel with me doing the watch along. And when he came in, I said, do you see this being a 1-inning thing, or do you see this being kind of like a swingman thing? Because I thought he was going to be a 5th starter, or at least have a chance to be the 5th starter. My concern, as I later shared in the inning, actually in the very first batter, was that his velocity's been down. 94, 95, where last year we were seeing 96 to 98. Location has not been great this spring training as well. Now, a lot of you say, including myself, well, I thought spring training doesn't matter. For some guys, it does. For guys like Ben Brown, it really matters. When you haven't pitched since June of 2024 in a big league game, you go into spring training, you have about, 6, 7 innings? That's not enough to be fully ready for the season. So being a 1-run game, 5th inning, and we're going to Ben Brown first, already kind of made me say, Then you see the stuff, still 94 to 95, and it still just made me kind of get uncomfortable. The big issue, though, was that he walks Andy Pages before Shohei Ohtani comes to the plate. He gets ahead of Shohei Ohtani, 0-2 really quickly, 2 nice death balls, and then he lays a fastball in the middle, gets away with it, and then he hangs another death ball. If you're wondering what a death ball is, it's just a really hard curveball. Hangs the curveball to Shohei Ohtani. Ohtani rips it down the line, 1st and 3rd, now with 1 out. That was where, for me, I got, and I was getting ripped by the comments. So go ahead, guys. Tell me what you think in this one too. But I just wasn't comfortable with the decision in the beginning to bring in Ben Brown. And a lot of people are saying, well, it's only the first game, yada, yada, yada. All that stuff is fine. But that was the issue that we had in 2024. It was bullpen decisions with not very many choices. This year, a bullpen decision with a lot of choices. Ready to go, Julian Merriweather, Nate Pearson, Ryan Brazier could have made sense at that point. I don't know about Porter Hodge, just based on how he's been looking. I don't think I would have gone there. Probably Eli Morgan. I would have thought maybe like an Eli Morgan or a Julian Merriweather would have gone in. And I know a lot of you right now are rolling your eyes saying, well, you can play Monday morning quarterback. That's not what I'm doing here. I didn't like the idea with Ben Brown coming in right away. I was surprised. I like Ben Brown a lot. I just don't think he's ready for a big situation yet. If it was a 4-0 game, yes. It's a 1-0 game against the best team in baseball that spent over $1 billion the last 2 years on pitching, hitting, and bullpen. You just can't make mistakes against these guys. And speaking of mistakes, later in the inning, you ended up seeing a ball that should have just been a force out at second base, and then John Birdie should have put the ball in his back pocket, throws it away, runner scores, and that would have, if I'm remembering correctly, would have been first and third with 2 outs. Instead, it's now a man on second with 2 outs, and another run has come in, and then Will Smith hits a RBI single to make it a 3-1 game. At that point, it felt very heavy. Could have been a 1-1 game to leave the inning. Could have been, at worst, 2-1 had the error not happened. Instead, it's 3-1, and Yamamoto looking the way he did, this dude's splitter was on today. And so for that reason, plus a crazy good bullpen, it was not a great feeling to see how this game went down. But again, you have to put all of this aside and you have to say the offense has to be better. Couple performances that were underwhelming. Matt Shaw, 0 for 4 with 2 strikeouts. Pete Crow-Armstrong, 0 for 3 with a strikeout. Kyle Tucker, 0 for 4. Seiya Suzuki, 0 for 4 with a strikeout. Now, I will give Kyle Tucker this. Against Tanner Scott, first pitch fastball in the 9th inning, hit a laser to right field, and I thought for sure off the bat it was a double. Ended up being a line out. The only guys with hits, Dansby Swanson, Miguel Amaya, Ian Happ. And Ian Happ's was an infield single off the glove of Yamamoto. Dansby Swanson did look really good in his plate appearances, though. Nearly hit a home run to right field, hit a line drive up the middle for a single. A very good approach by Dansby Swanson. And then the rest of the bullpen was fine. Eli Morgan looked really good. Ryan Brazier made a really good pitch to Shohei Ohtani, and of course Shohei Ohtani, I should say. Lines it down the right field line 108 miles an hour on a slider that most guys would have swung and missed on. So overall, you look at 2 situations. The decision of going to Ben Brown looked like it was premeditated, and it looked like Craig Counsell was unwilling to deviate from the plan in order to get a W on the board. That was the way that I read it. Let me know how you read it, especially given the fact that Ben Brown went out again for then the 6th inning and 7th inning and ended up going 2 2/3. It felt like a premeditated spring training outing. That's the way it felt as you watch this. Aside from that, though, Shota working out of trouble. Eli Morgan looked really good. Ryan Brazier looked fine. I think there's a lot to still be excited about from this team. The only problem is now tomorrow you have Roki Sasaki, the young, probably highest chance candidate for Rookie of the Year for the Dodgers, is now going to go out against Justin Steele. And I have not seen Roki Sasaki pitch at all spring training. I have heard the splitter is light years better than Yamamoto's, whose was already really, really good today. So I'm going to be interested to see this. Join us tomorrow on our next watch along. Tell me what you thought about today's game. I hate to say it, the vibes after the 4th inning, going into the 5th inning, felt like 2024 Cubs, and I don't like that. I don't like feeling that way. I don't like us having to experience that again. I want to see a 2025 Cubs, a new version of the Cubs that when they're down, they can come back, and when they're ahead, they know how to seal the deal. That's what I want to see. What do you want to see? Let me know in the comments, and we'll see you tomorrow on the watch along. Make sure you join us at 5 a.m. Central. Gonna get up early again. I'm gonna go put my arm on ice. We'll see you next time, Saddam Nation.